Welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Josh Taylor, Gene Collier here. We're taking your phone calls, 412-575-2600 on the Borders and Borders hotline. Also taking your tweets at Josh Taylor HD. Let's go to the phone lines. Before we do that, quick update. Early second period, Penguins trailing the Avalanche at the Pepsi Center in Denver. 1-0 is the score. Let's go to Waylon in Washington. Waylon, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Hi, Josh. Hey, Gene.
Hey.
Hey, I appreciate you guys hanging in there. You're doing great.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, hang in there. Here, I'm not disrespecting anyone, but I don't want to put you on the spot. But when Gilbert's coming back, that right tackle, I'd hate to line up against that guy. And I think that really might help the Steelers. The other guys are doing a good job, but I don't know if you guys know if he's coming back or what's up.
It seems like a week-to-week thing, and thanks for the call. Last week it seemed like he would be ready, Gene, after last week, after missing that first game being out, and he ended up missing the second game in a row too. With that said, I thought Chuks Okorafor did an outstanding job for a rookie getting his first start. I thought Matt Filer had filled in admirably before he got hurt. So while it would be nice to have Marcus Gilbert back, I think the Steelers are in one of the rare situations where they lose a starting offensive lineman, then a backup offensive lineman, and still somehow end up okay against traditionally one of the best pass rushes in the league the past few years. Yeah, the Steelers' offensive line depth is really remarkable. But as far as I know, Marcus Gilbert practiced today and is expected to play on Sunday as of now. Yeah, my opinion would be it's been a week-to-week thing probably the past couple of weeks. It's been Mike Tomlin's policy has always been they let what happens at practice be their guide. We'll let practice be our guide. We'll let practice be our guide. That's usually what he says. So
we don't live in our fears.
Today, right? And they don't live in their fears. So the fact that he practiced today.
Standard is the standard.
Gene's telling all of them. That's the best way I could sum it up. He's got everything.
I've heard them.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go back to the phone lines. Let's go to Marilyn and Munhall. Marilyn, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Hi.
Hey, Marilyn.
Good to see you two working together.
Thanks. I always have a great time with Gene.
My question is kind of like I want to pick your brains.
Sure. Okay. Hopefully
and
not.
Two is better than one. I'm just wondering why in football they have so many timeouts. They have 6 timeouts, the time between quarters, the time between plays, the TV timeouts, halftime, between quarters. Yet in hockey, all they have is 1 timeout, the TV timeouts, and the 2 timeouts between periods.
Right.
And it seems to me that hockey would be at least as strenuous as football. Why there's such a discrepancy in the amount of time that they have off in football as opposed to hockey.
Right.
Marilyn, thank you for the call. I'll have 2 different answers here. The one is probably more of the textbook boilerplate answer. Probably comes down to the flow of the game. That would be my guess. These are 2 completely different games as far as how they flow. Hockey's more continuous, except for the stoppages of play. Football, you run one play, you stop, and then you run another play, and then you stop. It's just the flow of the game. They're just not identical. So to expect them to be identical from that standpoint is probably expecting a lot. The second thing, you mentioned the TV timeouts. Here's what I'll tell you, and Gene, feel free to weigh in on this. We're talking about 2 sports where it comes to TV exposure and sponsorship and overall entertainment level and ad revenue. TV is a sport that's way above hockey, not only on the pro level. College football gets pretty ridiculous too as far as the advertising revenue is concerned. Those are my 2 theories. Gene, what do you think?
I respect both of those theories, particularly from a technical sense. I think you're absolutely right. However, I agree 100% with Marilyn. If you can play 60 minutes of hockey and allow 1 timeout, you can do the same with football. The 3 timeouts in each half of football are there, in my opinion, for the coaches to show off about how they manage the game, manage the clock, whether or not they have atrocious clock management, which we've heard that phrase a couple hundred times.
I'm glad you brought that up because my next question was going to be if they only allowed 1 timeout in football, how much worse would the complaining be about time management for coaches?
It would be wonderful because you would really have to pick a good time for that timeout. So I am all for 1 timeout in football. And, the same thing can be extended to baseball where before the beginning of last season they said, okay, we're going to limit mound visits, and then they limited them to 6. How about limit them to 1? See how that works.
What about 1 every 3 innings?
And here's another thing. With the college basketball or the pro game, maybe the pro game is identical. I don't know that much about the pro game. But again, 1 timeout. That's all.
That's a thought. Honestly, you might get a much different feel of the game.
Yeah, you would.
I mean, how many times have we seen, if you remember Phil Jackson when he coached in his prime, there would be times when he refused to call timeouts.
Right.
He told his guys, you figure it out on the floor. I'm not calling timeout to tell you what you need to do when you already know what you need to do.
Now that's not to say
he
he didn't use his timeouts. He just didn't use them for that.
He didn't use it for that.
And, you know, in the college game, I think you can just hoard your timeouts. And that's what makes, you know, the last 12 seconds of a college basketball game last 2 hours and 12 minutes.
You're absolutely right. Meanwhile, in college football, they always complain, well, you can't leave with them. And they just try to, you know, use them up in probably that last couple minutes also. But a little bit of a different dynamic.
Well, maybe I can just get you to agree here on the record, on the show, live television. 1 timeout for all sports.
Can I say fewer? Because one seems like a lot. I mean, 1 seems like a little.
Not everybody's is crazy. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Well, I have a mutual respect for your crazy. Put it that way. We'll take one more before we take a break. Brad in Duncansville. Brad, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Hi, Gene. Hi, Josh. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I have I have 3 points for you, quick.
Go ahead.
Got to make them quick. We got to pick a break.
Take all the time you
want. The Pirates will go out and get a second baseman and a shortstop. And Marcus Gilbert did not practice today because I just saw the injury report.
Really?
Okay.
Okay.
And do you think the Penguins are going to go find a winger or a defenseman? And when is the NHL trade deadline? When the Penguins have to make moves.
Okay, let's try to see if I can remember these in order. First one, Pirates getting a second baseman or a shortstop. I believe we had the same exact question Saturday night, and I felt the same way about it. It comes down to how they feel about Adam Frazier, for me, because there are some people that think he should be at second base. I was converted to that group by the end of the season. I thought both offensively and defensively he showed his worth there. There are some that believe he should get opportunities at shortstop. I'd be willing to look at it since he played there at Mississippi State. I don't know how good he would be as far as range or his arm ability, but anything is worth a look. I think that's what it comes down to. I think signing Lonnie Chisenhall probably gave you a little bit of a sign that he's going to spend some time out there in right field between right field and third base because he plays both positions. We got to take a break, so what we'll do is we'll come back and we'll answer the remaining parts of that question. Stick around.